Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I had a guest on in the past, and I liked him so much I had to bring him right on back. So today's special return guest is Mitc Russo. He's the founder over at Mindful Guidance, LLC, and he's also author of The Invisible Organization, How Ingenious CEOs Are Creating Thriving Virtual Companies. Mitc, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Great to be here.
Oh, man, so great to have you back on the show. It's been so much fun to do these reunion episodes. I like to say it's like I'm getting my old podcast family back again, so really appreciate you coming back and excited to get into your book here today. Before we get into the book, though, I don't want to assume that that all of our new listeners caught your first episode, so let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing as founder over at Mindful Guidance, LLC. Tell us a little bit more about some of the projects you put out.
Sure. So, Adam, as you know, I have an iTunes Top 200 podcast called Your First 1,000 Clients. That certainly keeps me busy. I also have a very active coaching practice. I help CEOs get to the next level, compress time. In 2 months, we can make a year to 2 years progress. And at the same time, as you know, I'm also developing software for coaches. So I do quite a bit of stuff these days, and I love all the work that I'm doing.
So you stay busy, yes?
I do. I stay very busy.
So I think it's a good transition too. I want to get into this book. I mean, it's obviously such an important. To me, I mean, we've operated. My team's been remote, and we operate virtually for years now, and that's just the way our model was in media. And I know, obviously, with everything that's going on now, a lot of other people are doing work from home and operating virtually. And so when I saw your book, the Invisible Organization: How Ingenious CEOs Are Creating Thriving Virtual Companies, I was like, man, the timing and everything else, it just kind of all lines up. What was the inspiration for this book?
You know, the inspiration for the book came from a guy named Jay Abraham. I had just finished building a company as president and CEO called Business Breakthroughs International, and my partners in that business were Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes. And after Chet Holmes passed away, I felt like it was a good transition moment for me to exit the company and move on to my next chapter in life. And so I called my buddy Jay and said, hey, Jay, just would love to get your thoughts. What do you think I should do next? And Jay said, you know, whatever you do, Mitch, you just cannot let what you know go to waste. You have to find a way to tell the world. And, of course, I was a little confused. I said, Jay, what do you mean? What do I know? He goes, well, come on, you just built this incredible company, 330 people, completely virtual. You got to tell the world. I said, okay, there you go. So I started writing this book, and it was an incredible adventure writing the book because I've never written a book before. And Adam, I got to tell you, it wasn't easy. It took me 2 years to get the book out. And I threw away the whole first version of it. I just deleted it off my hard drive. It was so bad. It was just so boring. Yeah. So I had to start over. But what happened was, you know, I found the name first, actually. I knew what I wanted to write about, but I was just noodling, looking for URLs, and I found invisibleorganization.com. I said, wait a minute. That's exactly what I built. Let's use that. That became what we now call the spine of the book. And frankly, the whole book it just flowed out of me in about 6-7 weeks after I understood exactly now what I needed to write about.
Wow, that's amazing. And so I want to go a little bit further into a couple of these sections in the books. And to the listeners, we're not going to have time, of course, to go through all of it, but we don't want to go through all of it anyway because we want you to go out and buy it. And it's really easy to find over on Amazon. All I typed in was The Invisible Organization, and it pops right up. And there's multiple versions there so that you can pick it up really easy. But I want to go through a couple of these things. So first off, I noticed section 1, what some of the most ingenious CEOs have been doing behind the scenes. Shed a little light for us on that section, please.
Sure. Well, I also want to differentiate this book from other books of its type. This is not a book for solopreneurs who want to work from home. There's some fantastic books out for that. This is a book for CEOs who want to transition to a work to home from a physical infrastructure. Now, we've all been forced to do that these last several weeks and months. But, the thing is that most people brute force it. So they just say, okay, everybody, we're closing the doors. It's, it's coronavirus isolation time. Go home and work with your laptop. Well, that's great, and that will probably be just fine. But there's so many components of this that will allow the CEO to, A, gain more control of their employees, monitor their work more efficiently, B, actually increase productivity, and probably most importantly, C, make everybody enjoy their jobs even more. So that's what the book focuses on. It focuses on the CEO's role in building, running, and taking advantage of the superpowers that an invisible organization has once they are completely virtual.
What do you think are some of the, and obviously this is going to change from company to company and the company's experience and things like that, but you mentioned the whole, kind of brute force thing and that being maybe an error or a pitfall in what's going on right now, but obviously it's a necessity. What do you think are some of the let's just say the low-hanging fruit that people can, that even though they have to make this transition, that some of the CEOs listening to this right now can be thinking about in this new environment that we're all placed in, this work from home environment?
Sure. Well, again, clearly the first thing you had to do was get your folks situated and working, and you did that. So congratulations. Second thing you need to do is you need to make sure that they are able to operate within a secure environment. Most people neglect this. So others have said to me, well, hey, look, we're just a, fairly small company. We don't have servers, we don't have, a room full of equipment. How do we make sure that people are operating in a secure environment? And I'm going to give you 3 letters that I want you to write down because this is going to be 50% at least of what you have to do. It's called VPN. So what I want you to do is I want you to go online and search for a VPN service that you can subscribe to for your own employees or staff members. Then, once you get this VPN, make sure it has the bandwidth and is not over congested because of everybody else using it, and get your folks set up on this VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And the whole point of this is that you are creating, think of you're tunneling underground between cities. So you're staying out of the congestion. You're staying off the main highway. You have your own secret pathway. That's what a VPN is, and that keeps you very safe from people who would steal Wi-Fi addresses and then gain access to your staff members' systems or your own system as well.
No, I think that's great advice. And so let's go a little bit. I want to hit this one more point on the book before our time is up. So, section 2, myths, realities, and outcomes. Give us an insight of maybe some of the myths out there that people think about that aren't necessarily true.
Well, probably the biggest myth is I'll lose control of my people. I'll lose control of my staff. I mean, that's the most obvious thing. Hey, if I send everybody home, I can't control them. How do I know when they get started? How do I know what they do throughout the day? Well, I'm here to tell you that, we have studied the available SaaS-based software that we use for our clients all over the web and all types of companies. And so we know exactly what applications to apply to a particular job where you as the CEO and your management team can literally monitor exactly what's going on in your employees' homes on their PCs or on their Macs so that you can tell what they're doing. Not in a, weird big brotherish kind of way, but in a productivity way. So you know whether people are taking phone calls, whether they're doing work. Even if they're not focused on work, you'd be able to monitor that too. So there's a lot of software out there that most people simply aren't aware of that would let them do a great job of tracking, monitoring, and in some level controlling the people who work for you.
Man, that's great stuff, Mitch. So that being said, we're about out of time for today, but final question. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about working with you or your team, and also I know you have some software coming up and some other things, I mean, what's the best way for them to just plug in and to get your content?
Best thing is go to mitchrusso.com. There's over 300 interviews, blog posts, and informational ideas and things that I've created just for people to come and visit and get for free. And, of course, you can contact me there. I also have another book that just came out recently called Power Tribes, so you can read a little bit about that there, too.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Mitch, it's been great having you back for this reunion 2020 episode. Can't wait to have you back in 2021, see what you're working on then and what you have cooking, because I know you do not sit still. So you're always moving. So it's great to have you back on. And to the audience, as always, thank you. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, then definitely give us a subscribe there, but leave us some comments in the video. I mean, love to know what kind of projects you're working on and what you have going on in your world. And Mitch, thanks again for coming on.